Alex Shuriket presents my very emotional parody audiobook, Steamgelion! Roles played by Саня Иванов, Синдзи Икари,
Марина Калинина,
Misato Katsuragi, Rima Kagevich, Ritsuko Akagi, Commander Ivanov, Gendo Ikari, Raya Ayanama, Rei Ayanami, Ali Katzman, Aido Kensuke, Toля Suzuha, Todzi Suzuhara. First season, 5th episode. The howl of a siren blew the air over Moscow City.
Rest!
Comrade Kalina shouted towards the radio.
Pretended to be a monument! Let it fly by!
It'll be done.
Rai replied, who instantly understood the plan of Comrade Kalina. At this time, Comrade Ivanov grabbed the phone and, barely waiting for an answer, barked. Evacuate the city immediately! Throwing down the phone, he ordered to give him a pen, and having received the desired thing, he began to gnaw it furiously. Raya put the rifle on the ground and depicted the statue of the thinker. The Sam, gradually losing altitude, flew past.
I give an approximate calculation of the landing point.
Comrade Kalina said without taking her eyes off the periscope.
The distance is 1,358.5 to the east from the Soyuz AA. Raise the Soyuz AB to exit number 4. Rest, don't shoot. Let at least some of the houses go into cover.
It's okay, Comrade Kalina. I've already tried it.
Raya replied.
I have no ammo.
Comrade Ivanov jumped up and was indignant. No ammo! I ordered the person responsible for this 10 days in a row take out the trash and immediately evacuate the Soyuz AA. The Sam went on a descent and landed 2 meters further than Comrade Kalina had calculated. When the clouds of smoke and dust raised by its jet engines disappeared a little, it became clear, but this time the enemies decided to get down to business seriously. After all, in addition to a powerful design, instead of a head, the Sam had a tower, like a tank tower, from which a terrible caliber gun looked out, and in its hands the Sam held a huge bayonet shovel. The tower of the Sam began to move, as if examining the surroundings, the most significant houses in which had just gone underground. Having made a full turn and not finding anything threatening, the gun froze. Further, the Sam bent down a little and activated his earth-moving device, becoming to bite into the asphalt.
Look what you've come up with.
Comrade Kalina snapped.
He's almost a rust, Dix.
Then there was a loud grinding sound.
The Sam made contact with the first armor plate.
Comrade Akevich said.
When will he be able to overcome them all?
I think in 10 days.
Damn, we don't have much time. Small, do not stand on ceremony.
The head of the Soyuz AB appeared above the ground. Sanya raised his weapon and said, the task is clear. Oh, Marina.
A distance of 1,000.
Comrade Kalina warned, speaking over the radio.
Take this into account when firing. Now we'll load Rai's rifle and you will sing a duet.
But suddenly, the Sam stopped digging and straightened up. His gun turret began to move again and aimed precisely at the Soyuz AB. The enemy's shovel rumbled to the surface of the armor plate, and then, just a moment later, a terrible shot sounded. The Soyuz AB at that moment had not yet completed its ascent to the surface and therefore could not undertake any maneuver. The thing, driven by powder gases, flew out of the barrel of the Sam's gun, could shatter anyone's imagination. After all, this projectile turned out to be a huge cannonball on a chain. With a whistle rushing over the ground, it dealt a ferocious hit to the chest of the Soyuz AB and immediately rushed back, dragged by the chain, back to the gun barrel. The Soviet armor survived, but the Soyuz AB itself lost its balance and began to fall on its back. Sanya, who was in a semi-conscious state from shaking, could not prevent the fall, and his robot crashed to the ground.
Small!
Kalina cried in alarm.
Small, get up! The steam outlet from the boiler is blocked!
Shouted second engineer.
System pressure drops! Sanya, get up!
Kalina shouted almost hysterically, but the Soyuz AB did not move. Sanya could not stand the second shock, and his consciousness faded. At what moment, Comet Ivanov bit his pen in half and intervened. Immediately evacuate his robot! The platform with the Soyuz AB lying on it went down. The SAM returned its tower to its original position and calmly continued to dig. Sanya came to his senses from desperate ranks of the doorbell of the hatch of his cockpit. Who else is there? He asked angrily, not realizing at first.
Sanya, alive!
Kalina exclaimed from behind the hatch. Then Sanya looked through the viewing glass and finally waking up, shouted.
What? Where's the Sam? Why am I in the hangar? Sanya, open the hatch!
Sanya unfastened his seatbelt and removed his helmet. When he was making his way through the narrow armored corridor to the hatch, without letting Sanya utter a word, Kalina pulled him out of the Soyuz AB and, twirling Sanya in every possible way, began to examine him with lamentations.
You're not hurt? Where do you hurt?
What? Sanya was indignant. Stop bothering me! I'm not hurt!
Glory to the Communist Party!
Kalina breathed and released Sanya.
Why am I in the hangar, Aunt Marina?
He asked.
The SAM knocked you over and your Soyuz turned off, so we evacuate you.
And what about the SAM in that case? Has Rai destroyed it?
No, we decided not to send you into battle alone. We need to develop a new plan. And the SAM is busy for now, don't worry. We don't have much time, but we have it.
And what is this SAM doing?
Digging. Didn't you see? And anyway, stop talking. Let's go to the training room, develop a strategic plan. Rai is already there.
Having entered the training room with Sanya, Kalina was dumbfounded as Rai was already placing cubes and models on the table. The safe was open.
Oh!
Kalina said.
Who gave you the secret password to the safe?
Rai smirked and replied.
It was own fault, Comrade Kalina. It was necessary to think of something smarter when 1, 2, 3.
Kalina sighed and, closing the door, she went with Sanya to the table.
So, comrades pilots, I tell the situation. The enemy, who treacherously violated the border and have attacked from the east, landed directly above the control center of Vandergunker and began digging. At the moment, like a fool, it is already scratching its shovel on the first armor plate. The armament of the enemy includes a weapon that fires a huge projectile in form of a cannonball mounted on a chain, so that the enemy can use its weapon again and again. As we have already seen, hitting the cannonball on a Soyuz easily knocked him off its feet. For this reason, close combat and only fire combat are excluded. In addition, as it turned out, there is no ammo for Raya's robot's weapon in the warehouse. What are your suggestions, comrades pilots?
The comrades pilots thought. Kalina sighed again and said.
Of course, I would like to take something from all over Japan, let's say from all over the Soviet Union, but we have a slightly another story.
And then Sanya suddenly grinned cunningly and said,
Wait a minute, Aunt Marina. Its cannonball is on the chain, you say? On the chain?
Comrade Kalina replied.
Do you have any plan?
That's right, ma'am, Sanya said, grinning even more cunningly. Soon, both pilots were in their cockpits. Comrade Kalina gripped the periscope tighter and commanded.
Let's go! Rest, you're the first!
And both platforms with mighty Soyuzes began to rise to the surface again.
Small,
Yes, Aunt Marina.
what kind of music will you listen to?
Oi, play any, I have no time to think.
Comrade Ivanov, have you heard? Any?
Comrade Ivanov rummaged through the drawers and, choosing the first envelope he came across, played something classic. Well, music for military affairs. Sanya grimaced with displeasure.
Dissatisfied again? You yourself said any can be played.
Stop it! Don't distract me! The platform carried the Soyuz AA outside in the same place where Raya tested her Soyuz. She made the Soyuz AA get off the platform and hide. Soon, the Soyuz AB also appeared above the ground. In its hand, this robot held a barrel of a German large-caliber cannon left over from the Second World War. The Sam has so far continued to dig enthusiastically.
Move forward according to the plan.
Commander ordered, not looking up from the periscope.
Rest, be ready to support the Soyuz AB.
Comrade Kalinina! Comrade Ivanov said menacingly, tapping the stub of his pen on the table. Get your ass out of my sight!
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Comrade Kalina cried and raising the periscope straightened up. Sanya slowly drove the Soyuz AB, advancing on the Sam. Raya followed. But 10 seconds had not passed before the Sam, which had dug into the ground by as much as 3 meters, again suspended the excavations and began to straighten up.
Rest, do it.
Comrade Kalina ordered.
Small, just don't miss.
Don't worry, Aunt Marina, I played baseball.
Sanya gritted through his teeth, forcing the Soyuz AB to stop and swing the barrel of a cannon. The Soyuz AA rested its hands on the Soyuz AB's back and froze, preparing for a possible hit. The enemy gun turret began to turn, and so, when the muzzle of the gun barrel aimed at the Soyuz AB, the shot shuddered higher. Capitalism! Sanya swore, noticing that he had reacted too late. The cannonball that flashed through the air hit the Soyuz AB in the chest again. From the blow, both Soyuzes even slipped back a little, but thanks to Sanya's cunning idea, they resisted. The armor of the Soyuz AB cracked and staggered.
Small!
Comrade Kalina desperately shouted, seeing how the cannonball had already disappeared into the enemy barrel.
Calm down, now I will not miss.
Sanya assured.
I made adjustments.
Without giving any respite, the Sam fired again. But Sanya calculated everything correctly for his time and hit our ears with a metallic sound. His impromptu baseball bat hit exactly on the cannonball, knocking it aside. A huge drop formed near the head of the Sam, because the native cannonball, which changed the trajectory, began to whistle around, wrapping the Sam with the chain. A few seconds later, the Sam was bound hand and foot. Unable to stand, it fell on its side, shuddering the globe. Well, and now! Sanya shouted fervently, slapping the cannon barrel on the palm of the Soyuz AB. Let's beat him!
Beat!
Raya happily assented. Soyuzes rushed forward, but then the enemy, apparently not wanting to be beaten, used the self-destruction system and exploded, leaving only a memory and the shovel. Sanya slammed his fist on the instrument panel and angrily exclaimed, "What a stupid dumb beep, beep, beep." There was a mute pause, after which Comrade Kalina timidly said over the radio,
Sanya, I mean Small. I told you what we hear you all the time. Comrade Ivanov, what's the matter with you? You feel bad? Water! No, better give him a pen! Here, Comrade Ivanov, here, no, dear, no!
"What's wrong with that?" Sanya asked anxiously.
Now, everything is fine.
Comrade Kalina answered.
Okay, it is done. Small, get back on the platform. Rest, take the shovel and cover with soil what the Sam managed to unearth.
Raya said first.
It'll be done.
Wait, Sanya said. Why do a girl be forced to dig a hole when there's a man here, albeit a beginner?
Sanya, Raya will dig with the robot's hands and not with her own.
Comrade Kalina said with a smile.
You've had enough for today. Moreover, your frontal armor is badly damaged and can't fall off. Come back, gentlemen.
Yes, ma'am. Sanya sighed and directed his Soyuz to the lift. Stopping on the platform, Sanya turned the Soyuz AB to the east and looking on the Soyuz AA, said, "Aunt Marina,
Yes?
I've got an idea. Why don't we give names to these Sams, to be like in the original series?"
Let's give. Let this be Clinton. Do you like it?
I do. Soon Raya approached the shovel and took it into the hands of the Soyuz AA. Bringing the shovel to the cockpit, Raya commanded.
Amazing tool! It's not even scratched! Although, there is how much it not out in the armor plate.
That's good.
Comrade Kalina said.
So we still need it. Rest. When you're done with the hole, pick up the Clinton's shovel and take it to the warehouse.
The task is clear, ma'am.
Raya said and got to work. A week later, the enemy as if took a break and did not show any activity. The pilots honed their combat skills only in training. Moreover, Comrade Argevich sold Comrade Kalina a special method. The pay was a 30-day subscription for ironing the lab coat, and Comrade Kalina almost always began to win, only mocking the poor pilots. As for the school, everything was going well for Sanya, and his relationship with Alec and Tola grew stronger day by day. Raya, which aroused the interest of Sanya, also approached his heart. In the mornings, they went to school shoulder to shoulder. On Thursday, Comrade Kalina returned home later than usual. Sanya at that time walked around the living room and lulled the cat in his arms. She looked into the living room and proclaimed,
Sanya, I have good news for you. Very soon, there will be 3 of you.
Sanya dropped Oink Oink from his arms and shouted in fright, I haven't even held Raya's hand yet! Comrade Kalina was dumbfounded for a second, analyzing, and then she laughed.
I didn't mean that, my dear damn me. I meant the 3rd pilot. Tomorrow, right after school, you and I will go to meet the new pilot. We will fly by plane to a military base near the border with Ukraine. By the way, together with the pilot from Kiev, the Soyuz AC is being transported to us.
Oh, how you scared me out, Marina! Sanya breathed. And how can you transport such a bulk as the Soyuz?
On rails. Especially for these 33,333 railway workers secretly built a special railway line at night. 4 parallel railroads. The Soyuz AC is disguised as a monument to Vladimir Ilyich Lenin, so don't be surprised when you see it. By the way, Akagevich also said that this robot is something special.
Special? Cool! What's the name of the new pilot?
Let it be a pleasant surprise for you.
On Friday, when Tola, Sanya and Alec were leaving the school building, discussing what they learned from the lecture of the history of the Communist Party, suddenly there was a screech of car tires and the bright red Pobeda vehicle drove up to the school fence. Tola shook his head disapprovingly and said, "This driver is nuts or what?" Sanya sighed and replied, "This is Comrade Kalinina." When the vehicle door opened and our beloved Marina-chan, getting out of her vehicle, waved her hand to Sanya. Alec opened his eyes wide and said with undisguised admiration,
"Is this your Aunt Marina? A female driver is amazing!"
Sanya turned to Alec, but tactfully said nothing. When the boys approached Comrade Kalina, she greeted them.
"Hello, future!" "Good evening, Aunt Marina,"
Alec said quietly, not taking his eyes off Comrade Kalina's face. "Hello, madam," Tola said, looking at Alec with incomprehension.
"Sanya, are these your friends?"
"Yes," Sanya said, looking askance at Alec. "They are. These are my friends."
"Listen, Sanya, we can take them with us on our little trip."
Well, if we don't mind."
"Oh my Kremlin, Sanya, how can the boys be against taking a ride on an airplane?"
Alec replied first.
"I'm with you anywhere, Aunt Marina."
Comrade Kalina recoiled in surprise, and Sanya hurried to explain this phrase, throwing open the salon door and packing his friends in. Alec just lost when a car drives fast.
"Is it true?"
Comrade Kalina was sincerely delighted.
"Well, now I will please you, Alec."
"My tongue is my enemy." Sanya sighed philosophically and sat down last, slammed the door. The vehicle surged forward. Observing the formalities, Comrade Kalina made sure that Sanya's friends visited their homes and warned their parents about the trip. Finally, Alec, who left the house, put a bag with spare film in and sat down and slammed the vehicle door. Comrade Kalina drove out onto the avenue and rushed along it.
By the way, gentlemen,
She suddenly said, ready to laugh.
did I warn that there is no airfield there and we'll have to jump with parachutes?
What? Sanya got scared. Without training? I've only seen a parachute in pictures!
Don't panic, hero. The parachute opens by itself. And I don't force you to perform long jumps or group acrobatics in the air. The main thing is that the wind does not blow away to the enemy.
Sanya calmed down a little. Alec seemed not to have heard anything about parachutes, continuing to stare at Comrade Kalina, and Tola began to desperately rush about inside the car. Ah, let me out!
There is no turning back.
Predatory said Comrade Kalina and accelerated the vehicle. And so, the vehicle arrived at the Moscow B military airfield. While we were driving, Comrade Kalina warned by radio there will be 2 more paratroopers than planned. Therefore, the airfield workers were not surprised by anything and only silently helped to push screaming Tola into the plane. After the landing gear of the aircraft took off from the ground and it gained altitude, Comrade Kalina ordered.
Guys, unfasten seatbelts. Put on parachutes.
Alec, Sanya, and even Tola, who side-doomedly obeyed. Moreover, Alec carried out the order with some special readiness which did not pass by the attention of Comrade Kalina.
Alec,
She said,
you are so calm as if you have jumped before.
No, I have not found Palina.
Alec reported.
But I'm sure thanks to you, we will be alright. Well, thank you for your confidence in me.
She said and put her hands on her hips.
And you, Tola, what do you say?
How amazing and beautiful the world around me was, Tola said. Finally, time for the heroes to get off has come. Comrade Kalina completed the briefing, got to her feet, and ordered.
So, great heroes, march to the hatch.
Sanya bowed in a respectful gesture. Oh, only after you, Aunt Marina.
Not in any case.
She laughed.
A commander is the last to jump. I need to see where the wind takes you.
When the door opened from the side of the cockpit, and some officer of a very powerful physique came out of it. Well, said this big man, are you ready to jump?
We are always ready, sir.
Alec answered, winding up the mechanism of the movie camera. Can I have a last wish? Murmured Tola. You can't, said the big man with a smile. It's not yet time for your last wish. Having opened the hatch, the big man offered his services to everyone in helping to overcome the border of the aircraft. Alec went up to the passage, at the bottom of which floated a woodland decorated with autumn, and started the movie camera. But he hesitated. And the good native big man did not allow Alec to drop his honor in the eyes of his comrades and kindly pushed Alec out. Afterwards, the big man went up to Sanya and Tola and, having saved them from unnecessary words, repeated the same operation in relation to both. Glancing briefly at the parachutes of all 3 of them, the big man turned to Comrade Kalina.
Maybe do I myself?
She said timidly, stepping back a little. I know how you jump yourself, Comrade Kalina, the big man said, and going up to her, took her with a heroic hand by the scruff of the neck, carried her overboard and let her go, giving parting words. Goodbye! Landing on some arable land and somehow peered down the parachute, Sanya looked around. And suddenly his heart went cold. He saw what 3 soldiers in American uniform were walking towards him. Thousands of foes raced through his head at that time. Sanya was well aware of the frequent cases of errors with the landing site, due to which the paratroopers sometimes fell into the clutches of the enemy. He also knew what the Americans love to torture their captives by watching porn magazines nearby, not allowing captives to look at exciting photographs even one eye. A prisoner, burning with curiosity, as a rule, was ready to give out any military secrets. And Sanya already knew too many military secrets, and he was not sure what could withstand such mockery. Sanya's hand lay on the holster with his revolver.
Forgive me, Ray.
Sanya thought.
And you, Aunt Marina. And Aunt Rima. And Father. And you, Oink Oink.
Sanya straightened up and drew his revolver. Then the Americans suddenly stopped and waving their hands began vying chatter in pure Russian.
Stop! Stop! Do not shoot! We are not enemies! We are Soviet! This is our local joke to dress up in the Yankees and meet the paratroopers!
Well, Sanya said sternly, cocking the trigger.
Let's check what kind of Soviet you are! What year did Columbus discover America?
The soldiers looked at each other with despair in their eyes, and the braver one shouted,
We don't remember!
What is the name of Mickey Mouse's sister?
We don't know!
How many stars are on the American flag?
We didn't count! Professor, can we have another ticket?
No need.
Sanya exhaled with relief and lowered his revolver, smiling happily.
It looks like you really are Soviet.
To be continued.